This movie is about a surgeon who gets obsessed with a beautiful woman and destroys her. Warning. This video contains spoilers. Get your popcorn ready, and please drop a like. Let's go. The film begins when we know Nick, our surgeon, through some memories of his family. We discover that his mother was mean to Nick and despised him, and also that she was a single mother who slept with a lot of men, even when Nick was watching. Even with all that memories, Nick grew into a seemingly normal guy, with a job and a girlfriend who loved him. Nick is a really good-looking man, and the first impression you might get of him is that he is a young, accomplished, and successful man, who lives a life that many people would desire. He studied medicine and became a prestigious surgeon who made a name for himself. He worked at a hospital where he was almost praised, and people there really looked up to him. However, his past with his mother never abandoned him, and even being a normal type of guy, his facial expressions and actions looked a bit odd at times. However, up to his adulthood, Nick had what some people would call a good or a normal life. He was respected among the people around him, colleagues and friends, and had a successful career, earning a lot of money. Then we know that Nick's mother dies. She left him a big beautiful house as heritage, that Nick instantly inhabits. Nick is not neat sad about his mother's death, but there is always some sadness in his looks, especially when he is alone. One night, Nick's at a bar drinking with one of his friends. He notices a woman at another table, and he is instantly shocked by her. The woman is Helena, who is hanging out and drinking with a man. We can see that Nick likes Helena, and maybe not in a normal way. His behavior changes and it seems as if the only thing he could think about is her. After Helena girl leaves the bar, Nick starts acting like a maniac, moving like Smeagol in The Lord of the Rings, and trying to see where is she going. A bit later, he is jogging in the streets and sees Helena's car, chases her, and finds out she is in an apartment nearby. The crazy surgeon then climbs to a tree to watch her. A few moments after he was finally able to climb the tree, the figure of a man appeared beside Helena, and Nick went into a rage for it. He was jealous and unable to accept the fact that she was with another man. We can see that there are certain things about Helena that remind Nick about his mother. Nick climbs off the tree and keeps acting crazy. He even calls his girlfriend and asks her which things must he do to talk to a woman. His girlfriend doesn't understand, but she plays his game. This guy seems crazy right from the start. The next day, he throws a party with some close people and tries that Helena goes as well. The party is friendly and fancy, with cocktails, wine, and fine dresses. We see that Nick is a social guy. His warm personality and his charisma make you think he is an altruist or something. Nick organizes everything at the party so that Helena spends time with him, but she ends up liking another attendee, one of Nick's friends. Once again, this doesn't affect Nick at all, and he then starts figuring out another plan to get her attention. The guy is a creep, and can't stand rejection. He doesn't seem to care that she doesn't like him, or that she chooses to be with another man, and instead of crying after these events, he seems to obsess even more. Helena left a black bag at Nick's place the night of the party. This was the perfect excuse for him to call her the next day and meet with her. He arrives where she is, but she is disappointed and says that he is wasting her time. She rejects him once more, but Nick is persistent. He invites her for a meal. She agrees. They get to Nick's house, where he says he will be giving her a delicious meal, something she didn't object to. The fact is that Nick didn't have any intention of eating, and had a horrendous plan in mind when she asked Helena to go to his place with him. Nick offers Helena a drink, which she accepts, and falls asleep a few moments later. When she wakes up, Helena finds out that Nick had cut both of her legs. The woman is angry and can't stand what has happened to her, and she throws some things at crazy Nick, but she is unable to communicate with anyone outside or escape the house. In that state, she begins to understand that she was now disabled and that she would always need the assistance of someone to do even basic things. Meanwhile, Nick is happy that Helena is finally paying attention to him, and even quits his job at the hospital to be around and take care of her. His fantasy is now a reality. His life becomes being around Helena and taking care of her even when he was the one that put her in that state. His love or obsession is sick. Even when Nick's friends go to his house trying to find him, he hides and continues with his wicked fantasy. Helena feels like a toy and says that she has lost her youth and her life. Nick keeps her in the house. After a few days, Helena's boyfriend is investigating where could she be and is worried because he hasn't heard from her in a few days. Nick's girlfriend also goes to his house, and he manages to hide Helena and tie her while he talks with his girlfriend. She asks some questions, but Nick is evasive and sends her home after a while. Nick returns to Helena, who grabs his neck and tries to strangulate him. He gets crazy about that and decides that the best thing to do is to cut Helena's arms. Helena becomes a shadow of what she was before, and her life depends completely on Nick. Everything she can do is because Nick enables her to do it. She starts suffering from Stockholm Syndrome and starts to like Nick's presence and his care for her. She somehow falls in love with Nick and they have kind of a creepy love story for a while. One night, Helena's boyfriend finally finds out where could she be and goes to Nick's house, where he finds the grotesque scene of his girlfriend without arms or legs. He throws Nick to the floor and even then Helena begs him not to hurt him, arguing that she is in love with him now. The boyfriend punches and kicks Nick, and makes Helena choose between him and Nick. Helena chooses Nick, but he falls to the floor and wakes up in a different place. He was lying down on a bed, and neither Helena nor her boyfriend was around. Nick was asleep and the things that happened in his head were a dream. This movie explores a dark angle of dreams because dreams are always representations of the reality that a human brain creates for itself. Nick is shocked by this dream and seems to start realizing things. What happened is that Helena had a car accident where she broke an ankle. Nick, who knew her and liked her a lot, and not in the same way, was the one that found her and took her to the hospital. He fell asleep while the doctors were operating on Helena, and dreamt about all the kidnapping, the violence, the creepy love, and Helena without arms and legs. Nick ends up admitting that he is obsessed with Helena and that maybe that was because he reflected the rejection of his mother in the necessity for Helena to pay attention to him. Have a look to the other videos and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a comment to help the channel. Thanks guys for watching. Previously on Movie Recap, we start at a car, where a baby cries while a man and a woman argue. They both look altered, accusing each other of craziness and jealousy. The baby cries but none of the adults are paying attention to him. The man is driving and defending himself, and the woman is drinking, smoking, and seems to be out of her mind. The woman freaked out even more and started grabbing the wheel of the car in a maniacal way, saying that she doesn't want to live and that she felt like nothing. We find out that the baby, Derek, survives. 17 years after that, we meet three women who are in some sort of celebration because one of them